Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Indian Gooner podcast. For this week, I'm joined in by the real Indian Gooner or IG. A very warm welcome to the show, mate. How are you going?
I'm very ecstatic about this show, and I think as soon as Bob actually approached me, it's really great to be always on a lot of different podcasts, but Arsenal ones are always special.
Oh, totally. We agree with that. Do you wanna just give our listeners a quick preview of what you do, and then you talk about your channel in brief?
Sure. I basically have been following Arsenal for a very long time. So in 2018, I thought, you know what, let's try to build. I actually wanted to build a community of Arsenal fans, wherein people will come out and actually comment and let everyone know that what they feel about Arsenal. So I started a YouTube channel, and since then I think it's going decent, I would say. So you can. I'm pretty much sure Bob will provide you the link of my channel so that you guys can follow a lot of Arsenal content. So I generally specialize myself more into transfer news of Arsenal. Like throughout the year, I talk about that. So if you guys are interested, it'll be worth a watch. I definitely guarantee you that.
Totally. With the way that our season is progressing, and more likely that we are going to be finishing in the Champions League spot, we might have a lot of shopping to be done. So yeah, we'll watch your channel for more of such news, and then probably bring you into the show as well to talk about or more of such content there. So yeah, this is supposedly a happy one. This show is where we preview the Chelsea game, and then we look forward to the United game over the weekend. First of all, IG, I just wanted to check with you. What's your reactions after the game? Did you really think that we would go on to win the game?
No,
None of us did. Yeah. So,
my
so
actual reaction, I actually went into um, Ankit's channel, and he asked me the same thing. And my expectation was either it's a 1-1 or a 2-0 loss. That's because on the back of three losses, I knew that if any result has to happen, it's either the opposition team making a mistake or we changing our system. Both of those things happened. So I think I'm pretty much sure we were lucky enough. But taking your chances are also a sign of bravery as well. So we were brave on the pitch. I just don't want to give the whole credit to luck.
yeah, no, totally. It was not just down to luck. It was as well some moments of brilliance as well, brought us into the game. I had quite a bizarre feeling after the game because it was all looking like we were playing some sort of an amateur team when we were playing the Champions League champions, and then I mean now they're out, but still they are the current holders at least. So at their home ground. It was an interesting fact as well to read that Chelsea has never lost three of I think it was three home games together until I think it was 29 years ago that they lost, and no guesses for actually finding out which team that they lost that 29 years ago. It was against Arsenal, and then history repeated itself, that they lost again at home. It was actually three straight defeats. I can't quite remember if it was three or four straight defeats, but it's actually a good thing that we go on to get 3 points there. Um, I mean, what did you think of Arsenal ambitions before the start of the game? Because obviously we were ourselves coming back after losing three times, and then prospects to the top four almost looked at before the game. What did you think of it?
I think on the back of three defeats, a club bouncing back to get into the top four, getting into the Champions League spot. Of course, before losing these three games, Arsenal were amongst all the three teams. Like talk about West Ham, talk about Tottenham, talk about Manchester United. We were the best placed to grab that fourth spot and build a big gap between us and the other teams. But then we let it slip. But still, I think I of course as a fan, if you want to watch the game, even at Indian Standard Time 12:15 or 12:30, if that's the time, and if you still want to watch the game, you're expecting something from your team. You want to support your team. But I still believe even after the win, I think we're still the best placed team because I know the team that has actually blown it is Manchester United. So I knew at one point of time the only team that can stop us from getting into where we want to be is Tottenham. But I know that they have the two games that can decide our season. One is the Tottenham Liverpool game, which I believe Tottenham will definitely try to fight back, and then next is the North London derby. So it's pretty much clear if you want to be the top, in the top four, you have to fight for it, and it's a straightforward chance that we have. So that game was definitely, that game still is one of the best. After that game, I'm pretty much we will get our answer who's going to be the top four. I believe that. So I think getting into this game, I was just hoping somewhere if we get a point, if we get a point. That is exactly what my real intentions were from
Okay.
this game.
Yeah. Now, even when they scored the second goal and the score was 2-2, I still felt that Chelsea had all the potential to try and force a draw as a bare minimum. Going into the game. But talking about the goals, I mean, it was, as I said, it was quite bizarre for me to think that we would score two goals, not just one. We scored two goals from their attacking positions, and that shows that how we can actually move from defense to attack quite quickly. It was all making for a Chelsea goal, both the first ones and the second one. First one was never a goal, it was Christiansen was pretty clear in terms of the position, and then he just let it slip away, thinking that Mendy would charge forward, only for that not to happen. But I mean, credit to Nketiah for actually poaching that in, and then tapping that into the right corner. So what did you make of that? Us making out goals from defensive mistakes in the position, which hardly happens, but then as well transition from defense to offense.
I have seen in the last 3 to 4 seasons, I think Nketiah and Aubameyang have been the two kind of our strikers who have been poachers at times. Nketiah has done that once last season as well. So this season he's not got any opportunities compared to what he received last season. So I know he's got it in him. When Christensen did that mistake, I thought Malangsar might outrun Nketiah. I thought that way because I did not until that point. I know Nketiah is not a pacey striker, but
Yeah.
he somehow realized that Christensen was about to make mistakes, so he was ready for the run, and it just got to it in a point. And the best part was that out of all the four, Arsenal slotted in. I mean, they were clinical.
Yeah.
The biggest
They were.
issues that we had in those three losses is that Arsenal were not clinical,
Totally.
not getting too quick inside the box, getting into those proper positions. The clinical, we've been hurt by that, throughout the season in a lot of ways. We would have scored a lot of goals, but this game was something different. Maybe Arsenal were really, the way Nketiah slotted that first goal in. Oh, it was a classy finish. I mean,
Yeah.
Edward Mendy is actually a very good goalkeeper, but still, that was really a good
He
finish.
made him look pretty ordinary, isn't it? Especially for the first goal, I felt, because he know all along that Nketiah was charging through and he was almost straight on goal. But then for him to go to the left hand post, or the near post for him, rather than choose the other side, was actually very very clever, I felt. And yeah, I mean, it was clearly a goal well poached, I should say. And he kept the pressure on, when I mean, I didn't really expect Tavares to give that cross, but it was well read by Christiansen, only for him to actually tap it into Nketiah's spot. So all along a very well goal. A bit- yeah, again coming back into the ground. So once immediately after we scored the goal, was it sort of complacency that kicked in? How do you actually summarize the first goal that we considered? I mean, many say that Ramsey could have obviously done better in stopping that. It was not going in. He could have easily gone on to pushed it away or whatever, but it still took a deflection, obviously. But then it went in as well. How did you actually sum up that goal?
I think the worst part for both the teams when they started was their passing accuracy was down the drains. I mean, they were just giving the ball to each other.
Correct.
I did not see Chelsea as a Champions League team. I did not see Arsenal as a serious team that is looking to get into the Champions League. We were just
Totally.
giving the ball away. If you talk about the first 10 minutes before scoring a goal, Arsenal's passing accuracy was not even close to 80%. It was really bad. Everyone was giving the ball away. So I was just hoping when we scored the first goal, okay, fine. We won this exactly, when we won 1-0 last season at the Bridge with Emil Smith Rowe scoring from Jorginho's mistake last season. I thought we can actually stick to this 1-0 because our deep block in a back three, Rob Holding, I think we could do that. We can actually, uh, we can try to defend this 1-0 lead. But the biggest issue was the passing kept on becoming, from bad to worse.
Worse, right?
We
Right.
lost the ball. We tried to go with tiki taka fast passing. One mistake from when the ball was going towards Granit Xhaka. One interception by Ruben Loftus-Cheek. That's all it took. And then Chelsea were really quick feet in that. And when the moment I saw Werner coming trying to cut inside, I thought he might take a shot from a long range because nobody was actually coming closer and trying to stop him, which he did. I'm pretty much sure Ramsdale could not do anything about it because the way
It was slow, isn't it? It wasn't really quick. So he had time. In fact, he actually leaped over I mean, when he leaped over, when he dived, he actually dived to the length of the ball. So just that the angle wasn't enough to stop the ball.
I think the issue was that his feet were quite grounded for that jump.
Possibly he was a bit
where,
touch late.
Yes. If it was actually shot with a good amount of power, maybe Ramsdale was ready for that, but it was off a deflection. So when it bounced in front of him, he actually overdid it and the ball was quite slow for him.
Correct.
So it just went in and I think his feet was grounded. If he was like, if he was quite light on his feet, probably he was ready for, something else to happen. He could have caught it very easily. But then I think certain things don't go your way.
Yeah, no, rest we know is history. Yeah, but I think what I really liked in the team, again coming back to the fact that even when they were 1-0 down and even when they were put under pressure, I somehow felt the nutmeg that Xhaka did on Alonso to that was out of nowhere. That was completely out of nowhere. I didn't really the last person that I expect to come out with the nutmeg and then go past all the players. And then for Odegaard to get the ball and then for him to pass it to Smith Rowe, it was poetry in motion. That's how I summed up the second goal because I mean, out of all the goals put against, I mean, at least we can talk about against Chelsea that we did. This was the most beautiful goal that we could have scored, and we did in a style, in a grand style that they came in for attack, but then we converted that into a goal, classic counter attack.
I think if you've seen all the Emil Smith Rowe goals this season, whenever he scored, actually goalkeeper was clueless where he's going to shoot it. If you see the way we won against Watford 1-0, his goal, I mean, the goalkeeper just stood. His goal against Leicester City, the goalkeeper just stood. And even this finish, if you see, Mendy did not know whether that would go in because it was such a crisp finish.
Yeah.
It was at the right place, right time, and I thought Mendy was looking for whether that was not on target. And he just let it go. And when he's looking at the ball and it's actually going in, I think it was a good movement, probably a good drill, like a training ground drill kind of a finish. It was really good. But if you remember right, exactly after that, Emil Smith Rowe had one more chance which went wide.
Was it Smith Rowe or Nketiah? Towards when the score was 2-2. That was the next thing.
Before the end of the first half.
Right before the end of the first half. Before the end of the first half. I was about to talk on that because it was even a better move than the one that we scored. So that's what I was actually wondering. It had all the elements to be one of the goal of the month at least. I wouldn't say goal of the season, but it had all the elements to be goal of the month. But then it just didn't hit the target, and that was even closer. I felt.
The best part was that this was from inside the box and Emil Smith Rowe's dribbling. He dribbled past 2 to 3 defenders to make space. And the moment he was actually about to shoot, it went wide.
Yeah.
Mendy again was just looking.
Yeah, no, totally. Chelsea completely had a half day, as we all can see. I mean, they turned themselves off. I thought probably they could come out to give a strong second half performance, but they turned out to be even bad than what they were. The third goal actually summed up the thing when Malang Sarr, pretty much gave the assist for NKTR to score that. So um, it was pretty comedy in motion. So you could see the whole thing. It was never a goal. It was not going to be a goal, and it could have been stopped 9 out of 10 times that it was going in. But still, it somehow ended up in Nketiah's feet, and then all that he had to do is just tap it into the net. So that was as easy as what I felt about the third goal. Um, yeah. Now, how was your reactions to that? The third goal, especially.
I think the funniest person who actually was clueless of what was happening was N'Golo Conte at that moment of time, because Thiago
He
Silva
came
tried his
barging in.
best. Yes. So when Tavares provided the cross, Nketiah tried to control it. Thiago put a block into it. That still fell on Conte's feet. It fell almost on Nketiah's. It was Malang Sarr. It was then the question who's going to react first.
Hmm.
Malang Sarr was watching at Conte. Conte was not even in proper position to actually clear it off or do anything about it. Nketiah saw the opportunity and reacted first, and boom, that was in. Again, Mendy was just he couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, Mendy pretty much had a very poor game that day. I felt he didn't even make attempts to save any of those, or maybe he was just quite bizarrely puzzled at his defense that he didn't know how are they reacting to the goals as such. So that was probably what I felt about that. Now talking about the tactics to the game, did you felt it was as well unusual again for us to start with some sort of a back five with holding as well in defense. How did you make of that three-man defense?
I think that was our best chance to actually get something out of the game, because what we have seen is that whenever we've started with the back four and we are leading, it's happened against Aston Villa. Happened in a lot of games where holding was brought in as a substitute, where an attacking player was taken out, and then we were defending. I understood it's going to be we are going to be following some sort of a mid blocks or some sort of a defensive positions wherein it's all about the counter attack. That's all it's going to happen. So I understood, and I think that was the best plot. When you don't have the best players in the midfield, you know that you get extra support from your wing backs. You have to have some extra support of in terms of attacking. So I think that I was expecting a back three or a back five, as I already mentioned in Ankit's channel as well. So I was not quite surprised. I was happy that was happening, because that was I think that was our best bet to get into, of course, this type of a game, because of course there's a team that is actually going back three as well with this.
I mean,
So
I had butterflies all over my tummy, because the last time that we played that combination was against Man City final. That was back in August. That was the time that we played that back five, and then ever since then, Arteta had personnel to put a decent back four. But now again, we were back to square one with Tierney obviously not there, and then Tommy as well missing. I probably felt when he brought in holding, I brought in memories back, at the City game that we badly lost. So, but yeah, no, to agree with your point, it was sort of coming, because we know Tavares, as much as he's decent going forward, he's quite chaotic at the back. He was at fault for the second goal when he didn't really cover at Pilikuta. But yeah, I mean, we all know that. I mean, it's the players that we have, and we can't really go on to change anything or bring anyone in now towards the tail end of the season. So that's probably the best combo that we could go to. Now, if you think about the United game, I'm just talking about that part of the defense. Do you think that it would be featuring a similar five at the back lineup?
um, I mean, that totally depends if Tomiyasu is fit or not. Probably what Mikhail said in his in his
Pressure.
match as well. Yeah. So I think if Tomiyasu is not available, then back three I will welcome it, because on the counter Manchester United have been really poor. If you've seen the Liverpool game, so plus of course the Liverpool game, there were lots of people they were not involved. No Cristiano Ronaldo, no Rafael Varane as well. So they've got some personnel back. I think this Arteta is definitely going to go for a back three as well for this game.
Okay. Yeah, so they don't have Pogba. I mean, they have Pogba out for the season. Fred is not available. Cavani is not available. And then Varane is probably a doubt, as what I read. I'm pretty sure he's going to likely start. And then they don't. Yeah, they have Ronaldo back, obviously. Um, so yeah, no, I expect them to be a bit different to what they were against Liverpool. But that's, yeah, obviously that's not going to change much in terms of the personnel that we put in. It's likely going to be a backfire is what I think of. So I mean, I again wanted to actually touch up with the midfield option that we had. It was sort of brave for Arteta to actually bring in Elneny from the Frost, against Lokonga. So how did you actually make up of Elneny's performance?
Um, I've seen Elneny perform. Like, people call him in a lot of names where he passes a lot of sideways. But the best part about Elneny was that his positioning in this game was really good. Like, whenever, of course, you know that we are we've started the game to be one of the defensive teams. So let Chelsea have the ball. We just are going to hit them on the counter. Throughout the game in the first half, I saw Elneny or Xhaka, either of them, getting back with one of the centre backs and providing that extra protection. Elneny did that so well. Previously when he used to play under Emery, playing out from the back was horrible during that period.
Oh, totally.
It was
Don't
a nightmare.
don't mention there.
Yes. So there was a moment in time wherein Ramsdale passes to Elneny. He's already under pressure of two players. He's calmly passing it towards Ben White, who's out. So
Correct.
this time around, yes, the nerves are calm. I saw a calmer Elneny, and he did what he used to do. That is, play decent. The basics. He kept the basics right. That's all you want from a player. Keep your basics right, and actually he did that well. So I know if Elneny was slotted in, I'm surprised. Oh my God. Okay, fine. We had Elneny. We just, forgot. Since Partey got injured, we all thought that it's going to be Lokonga and Xhaka. But Elneny came in. I thought, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Provides us more security.
The best thing that I like about Elneny is the fact that he's a very thorough professional. Even the fact that if he's not called, he would 100% get to support the team, as I've seen. Mind you, he's actually out of contract at the end of the season. I mean, he had a lot of offers turned down in the winter window, and I think Besiktas and other teams were actually coming in for him. Despite all those things, he has had his squad number taken in the past, and then assigned a new number. Despite everything, you can't actually just notice any sort of a difference in the way that he behaves or the attitude that he brings into the team. And obviously he's not one of the best midfielders, but he is a professional who comes and does the job. He comes and do whatever the manager asks him to do, and that's what you require. And that's very rare find in football these days, because you find all these players with all these egos and all those sort of things, that they are bigger than the team, they're bigger than everyone. And then you find professionals like this who come and do the job no matter whatever that they are, with the other situation happening with them. So credit to Elneny definitely for his performance. Big fan of him, and always will be, wherever he goes on to play. So I just hope that somehow he remains with Arsenal, because he can be a very important squad player. He can fill in games at needed, and hopefully, if in case we get into the Champions League, we obviously will need a lot of bodies as well to support the team in their quest. So yeah, I mean, Elneny, yeah, very much summed up. Is thorough professional, and he got this full-on reward for playing, or getting a starting role with the team. And possibly I have my strong feeling that he will get a start against United as well.
I think if you remember us winning at Old Trafford
I
1-0,
remember
him
that
and
game, buddy. Totally.
him and Thomas Partey running the midfield, and he ran his lungs off in that whole game,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you could see that he's everywhere, and
Oh,
he was
totally.
bossing it. So I don't have any doubt, at the Emirates when we face them, it's not going to be that difficult. I'm not going to doubt him at all. I know he's going to do what he's going to do. So I'm backing him if he's on that score sheet. Sorry, if he's I want to see him in the score sheet from a long distance. He scores only bangers,
Oh, yeah.
but that would also be good. But on the team sheet, I think I want to see his name. I'll be happy.
Totally. Totally. Now, talking about the attack, obviously, like I said, was down with COVID, but he seems to have recovered to be on the bench. But Nketiah, it was brave for Arteta to come out and say that he hadn't been fair on him, which shows on to which goes on to say how fair Arteta is a manager. Is been reflective of himself. So obviously we all think that Nketiah would further get a start against United as well, because that's the only other option that we have apart from, like I said. But do you think he deserves to be in the place for the fact that there were 2 goals scored by him, or do you think that he deserves a place even otherwise, even when, like I said, was fit and in contention for the starting 11?
Well, I've seen Eddie and Ketia miss a lot of chances. I've seen
Right.
Joe Willock miss a lot of chances. So these are the kind of players that I did not want Arsenal to give them a new contract, because I thought that their further development, if it happens elsewhere, it would make a lot of sense. But after seeing the performance, I would want him to start. I would want to see more of Eddie and Ketia. That's what I want, because I've seen Lacazette. He's been a lot of wasteful, and suddenly you see Eddie and Ketia, who scores 2 goals out of nothing. And it's not just on target. He beats Mendy. Mendy is a good shortstop. You've seen him play single-handedly when they beat Brentford 1-0. Mendy was the man of the match because he saved a lot of chances coming from Brentford's attack. The same thing is Saturday's challenge when we face Manchester United. They have a goalkeeper who's a shot stopper, who's not a good distributor, who's not a good passer. If you press him enough, he just kicks the ball out, because he knows he's playing against someone who's playing against his own team, that is Harry Maguire. So Eddie Nketiah, I think Eddie Nketiah adds more pace compared to Lacazette. So I think he would try to close down and probably raise our chances of getting a goal from United's mistake. So I would want to think that way. So I think Nketiah makes a lot of sense compared to Lacazette.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think we've given enough build up, or lead up to the United game, that we can probably start talking about them as an opposition, as our next opponent. Obviously we've got 6 games to play, and yeah, in our opinion, all of them should be winnable, all of them should be won, because we need to cement our place there. As I said at the start of the show, that was a question that we had. All our dreams faded out after the Southampton result, and we probably thought we're never going to be making it there. And out of luck, or taking our chances, we still took full points against Chelsea, and we have all along to play for against United. So this is going to be a top 4 6 pointer if you sum it up, in terms of where we are going to be. United, obviously, off the field, they welcomed their new manager. Ten Hag will obviously get to talk more about him, in the seasons to come, as long as he's going to stay there. But yeah, at least for this game, as I pointed out earlier, they've got some key personnel missing. There's a feeling that probably Pogba has played his last game there, and they don't have any other midfield partners as well. So with the team that they have, they might be bringing out with Varane, Telles, Maguire, obviously who's going to play for us, and then Wan Bissaka at the back. How do you see us threatening them? What are all the areas that you think that Arsenal can make use of when it comes to the United potential lineup?
I think we United 11 have a lot of problems. When we played them last time around, when they won 3-2, I thought it was going to be a draw, but it was Odegaard's mistake who actually gave away a penalty by fouling Fred inside the box. So I think the way we scored those two goals, David De Gea slept for the first Emil Smith Rowe finish, and Odegaard scored. We were getting easily inside their box, easily. It's all about defending well. I think we gave too much respect to Cristiano Ronaldo last time around when we went to Old Trafford. I think Ben White was just ball watching when Cristiano scored I think the second goal when he scored easily. Uh, Bruno was the one who scored the first goal. So getting into those spaces was, I don't know why it was too much of we gave them too much of respect. But this time around, I think if our defense is quite tighter in a back three, I think we might stop the service towards Ronaldo. He might get frustrated. Lots of things can happen. But seeing how they performed against Liverpool, I think if we score two goals against them, I don't think so that team has something to come back from that.
Hmm.
So let's see.
They,
Let's see.
they, they felt like, I watched a United Liverpool game, and I had a feeling that they had their gas let out even before the start. um, and that was how the attitude was, as the way that they were playing. It was almost to the fact that it summed up. I can't remember the youngster who came on at the 85th minute, a Tunisian player.
Hannibal.
Hannibal, correct. Yeah,
Hannibal.
Hannibal made the most impression of the game, and he just came on at 85th minute. Now, obviously, Ronaldo didn't get to feature the game for all the reasons that we know, but he might be back in the starting 11. I think he might get into the starting 11 if his mind is right, but at least not on the bench, for him to make a start, or for him to come on at a later point in time. You mentioned the fact that we gave too much respect to Ronaldo, and that always happens. I've seen Arsenal. I mean, even when we were playing a Champions League semi-final long time back against them, we gave Ronaldo too much respect and space that he craves for, and this to me looks like a perfect banana skin moment, because we treat opposition with too much respect, way more than respect that they deserve. So when we were playing Brighton, for example, Brighton were coming off a terrible run of results. They were not winning for the sixth. I think they were not winning. They didn't score a goal for 6 games, and they had not won any game in the last 7 before they played us. So do you see any potential banana skin moments here that could, you as well mentioned the fact that the last time that we played United at Old Trafford, that was a game that had Arsenal winning on the cards all along, until we let that game go foolishly. So do you see such sort of an incident getting repeated itself, and then they're capitalizing on those?
I think one thing great about this season from Arsenal's point of view has been that we are taking lead in a lot of games. So when that happens, it tells you that whatever manager is telling them to do, they're doing that and it's working. When your team comes in and scores the first goal, leads. So I think United are definitely there. There will be lots and lots of moments wherein they are going to get caught. I'm pretty much sure Martin Odegaard is going to have, he's either going to score or he's going to assist. I have a feeling. Lots of Arsenal players. If Ralph Rangnick is actually planning to counter some Arsenal players, if he is planning for a 3 point, getting all the 3 points from Arsenal, I think he might try to pin down Saka. But we need a lot of outlets. If we are actually playing in a back three, we need a lot of outlets like Emil Smith Rowe, Odegaard to be free. So if and only if without midfielders, I think Manchester United are going to have a lot of problems in dealing with Martin Odegaard. So I'm expecting Arsenal to run into their defense right away, getting inside the boxes. I'm pretty much sure. But with David De Gea, it is not going to be easy. If you just try to he's a good shot stopper. I think exactly how we played against Mendy. We were clinical in our finishing. I think we can make a mockery out of that Manchester United defense if we are clinical.
So again, one of the talking points about the Chelsea game is the fact that Smith Rowe started the game and Martinelli came late on. Do you see such a thing getting repeated? Do you think Martinelli might come in later point, or is there a way that we can try and accommodate both of them together?
There could be a way us accommodating both of them together, but I've seen Martin Odegaard being captain for the last two games, so I don't see Emil Smith Rowe playing as a 10. I'm seeing Odegaard again starting and being the captain. If that happens, then here's the funny part: if Martinelli starts, the oppositions know that he's a big goal threat, so they're ready. They're ready with their winger and their full back to two people to counter. But if you see Emil Smith Rowe's goals, nobody's marking him. He's nowhere. He's just roaming around, and out of nowhere, he just comes in and he just takes his chance and he tries to get the far corner or something like that. So he in disguise, he's been scoring those kind of goals of late, and he scored that goal against Manchester United when the keeper did not even know what was happening, and that goal was given towards Arsenal. So I think Emil Smith Rowe would be a better player to start with.
Mm.
That could be one of the ploys that we could go about.
Yeah. So he,
But
he gives a he gives a flavor of unpredictability, right? So that's something which opposition will not know what's going to strike them or how is he going to hurt them. So yeah, totally.
right. That is one pattern that I've noticed in Emil Smith Rowe's goals. So I think that can help us in a lot of ways.
Totally. We spoke about obviously the defense as well. That's going to be slightly or exactly similar to how it is. Do you think if Tomiyasu somehow is able to make it in, will he be able to help Arsenal revert to a back four, or is that going to be still the same even if he's going to be back?
If Tomiyasu, if we actually go back to a back four with Tavares as a left back, I think it still is a pressure on Granit Xhaka to cover the ground because Tavares is a liability defensively, a very big liability, and I'm pretty much sure that's exactly what Chelsea would have planned, and that's how the second goal was scored. And I'm pretty much sure Manchester United will be planning for Tavares playing as a left back, and if that happens, you could see some of the attacks happening from that side more as well. At one point of time when Tavares sleeps off and suddenly there's a cross coming in from his end, he's out of his place, probably attacking more. He was trying. He was acting as a try hard Tavares in the first half of Chelsea as well, which I noticed. So attacking wise, I'm pretty much sure when he goes forward, if you have three at the back, you know that there's an extra man who's covering for his defensively. Otherwise, that is going to stretch our midfield. Granit Xhaka has to cover a lot of distance so that he goes and attacks. So I believe back three makes a lot of sense. If Tomiyasu is fit, let's wait for the West Ham game because we don't have a proper wealth in that midfield to venture forward. So at least for this game, I'd go for a back three.
See, if you look at it, every area that I think we feel that we are short. So we don't have enough cover for the defense. We don't have enough midfielders to cover, and then as well as with the attack, as we all know. So in every position, I think only one area that we could boast ourselves that we are a bit decently covered is the goalkeeping area. But that would so yeah. No, I have the same exact thoughts as well. So I don't think Tavares can be left on his own on the left flank, and it would actually put a pressure on the midfielders, especially Xhaka, to come in and then covering him at the back, which will cost a midfield push. And then I feel Elneny will be too isolated to hold himself, to the United midfield, and then possibly that will actually give them an upper hand in terms of how they want to play. So maybe it's still wiser as even if Tomiyasu should be available, he probably has to be sort of rested in and then brought. Holding sort of has to continue at the back five and make way for someone else, towards the end of the game when we are in a decent position. That's probably what I think of it as well. Now, we've spoken about the defense, obviously the midfield that we've covered, and then as well as the forward line. Now, yeah. So there's one thing that I want to talk about, which is obviously um, with Ronaldo be back again. Do you think United would be any different to how they played against Liverpool had Ronaldo been there?
Against Liverpool, no.
Wouldn't have made a
That's
difference.
because no, not at all, not at all. Because tactically, what Liverpool did against Arsenal, they identify which are the attacking players that are going to be a big threat. So there are lots of players in Arsenal that have scored a lot of goals. There's Odegaard, who's very important for our attack. Saka, Emil, Martinelli, Xhaka with his passing, abilities. So they try to
You didn't
neutralize two to
mention
three
Pepe.
points. Nicola Pepe, yes, off the bench. So there's a reason I did not mention him. So the best part of Liverpool is that they know where exactly will be the goal threat, and they neutralize 2 to 3, so that one of the goal threats actually gets isolated. So I'm pretty much sure the biggest weakness of Cristiano Ronaldo is if you actually neutralize a lot of crosses coming to him. He's great in the air. He's great in the air. I've no complaints about it. If you ask me who's the GOAT, Ronaldo or Messi, I'd say Ronaldo. But still, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I know that service to him, if that is stopped, it'll be really great, especially from corners. So I think he scored against Norwich from a corner as well. So even against Spurs, he did that. So I'm pretty much sure that if we actually are good in the air against Ronaldo, it's difficult. But if we hold our ground well, and I think I'm pretty much sure with the way Manchester United is playing, I think it's either Ronaldo or nobody else scores. So we need to identify the proper threats, and have to neutralize them on the pitch.
I can't wait to see what Ronaldo does at the end of the season. And should Manchester, United end up in Europa League, I just waiting to see how United will. I mean, or Ronaldo as such will approach that. So that will be quite bizarre for him. And if I put my personal view in, I most probably will think that he will find a way to leave, because that's not a competition that he would dare himself to put in. So yeah, that's probably what I think of Ronaldo. But yeah, coming back into the game, so United are coming at the back of 3 away defeats. They have not they've not had 4 away defeats since a very long time. How do you fancy our chances of inflicting that 4th away defeat to them?
I think the game is at the Emirates. I think our chances are really high, and our chances are high because I am pretty much sure that there is not much harmony in between those Manchester United players. When you have seen Pogba getting kicked by Maguire, you just point out to just one person, and he's the Manchester United captain. So I'm pretty much sure he's starting tomorrow. Even though there was news that there was a bomb scare in his house, which is terrible news, which is a very terrible news as well. Yeah. So I'm expecting when he starts, people, the players around within themselves, they might be thinking, "Oh my God, we can't trust that defense." Yeah. And when that happens, I mean, David De Gea has been suffering since a long time, since Maguire came out. So I'm pretty much sure the player harmony within the Manchester United players, I think we can exploit that. We know exactly where exactly
how to hurt.
Yes, how to hurt them, get in between the lines. Harry Maguire has been a poor defender since his Leicester days. If you remember our 3-1 win where Mesut Ozil ran riot under Unai Emery, 3-1. 2 goals from Aubameyang, and those classy goals on a counter attack. If you remember, Unai Emery's first season, Harry Maguire was a centre back. Getting in between the lines, Harry Maguire was clueless for that Leicester team. For all the 3 goals, he did not know what to do. So if he's the centre back that leads that defense, I think if we do our basics right, I don't think so. I'm not much worried about it. There's the only player. I'm not worried that Arsenal will definitely score a good amount of goals in this game. but I'm only worried that Manchester United can counter because of one man.
Yeah, totally. No, we we know that he's going to be the only threat. We have hardly spoken about Sancho. Do you think he has something at least? He's had a horrible start to his United career, and it felt like in between that he found his form decently, but then it's back quiet again. So do you see any of the attacking threats, or him causing any difference to the team?
I don't want to put him down, but if we are actually just as I saw Ben White playing as a right centre back, if I see that happening alongside Bukayo Saka as the wing backs on the same side, I think we can neutralize Jadon Sancho. His only option would be to cut inside much earlier and pass it to their midfield, and that opens up a chance for us of interception. So I think we can definitely counter with Jadon Sancho. He's not as potent. I've never seen him as a winger. In Bundesliga also I've seen him someone who's running directly in a counter attack.
Yeah.
Who's actually providing well. I've never seen him as a proper winger who attacks right away at the defenders, like how Saka 1v1 against Alonso was killing him. I don't see him that way. So I don't think so he'll be as lethal. If he plays a lot central, it makes a lot of sense. But I don't think so. Rami thinks looks at him as a number 10 when Bruno is in the side.
One more question on United's forward line. We know, this is not a transfer season, but if you were assessing Arsenal's attack towards at the end of the window, and if you think Rashford would be made available to Arsenal, how would you fancy taking him on?
I think Arsenal should stay away from Marcus Rashford. But there's a big reason for that because there are lots of since Sir Alex Ferguson left, Manchester United have been paying youngsters a lot, and that too average youngsters a lot. Like if you see Marcus Rashford, if you see Anthony Martial, if you see Jesse Lingard, these players have wealth of experience. They've played for lots and lots of seasons in the Premier League, and they don't have enough numbers. They don't have enough number of goals. So they've been paying them a lot, and I think it's not. It should be the other way around. Marcus Rashford should not look for some other club. Manchester United should think to offload him because he's been a failure. I mean, the one of the most famous words that I hate associating football players is that the word is promising. You could be promising in your first season, but if you are promised, just like Dele Alli is a still promising player, and he's been playing Premier League since a very long time. Yeah. You can't be promising for a very long time. That's when you say that the time is up. It's over.
Lingard has
they did not grab
it for a long time until he showed some of his promises at West Ham. To be
West
fair.
Ham. Yeah. but imagine these youngsters. I think Lingard is turning 29 or 30, if I remember.
27. I think.
27. Okay. But still, you can understand 27. That is the prime of a player, and the best we've seen Lingard plays for West Ham than for Manchester United.
Totally.
So it's the system and probably a manager who believes in him, gives him that. I know they've gone through a lot. I mean, Jesse Lingard has a history. We've heard about Rashford not feeling good, whatever it is. I mean, lots of people go through a lot of things, but they bounce back. But they have not arrived with the hype that they've gotten. That they get. They have never arrived in their career, so we cannot talk about them coming back from something. So they're just overhyped players.
You very precisely mentioned about players not getting back from what they were. I know there was actually a lot of complaints that Maguire had a very horrible Euro heartbreak, and so was Rashford. But if you look just on the contrary, our jewel in the crown, Saka, we didn't really talk about his final penalty, but then that was the sort of attitude that they should all be looking up, right? This 20-year-old boy. I as well read news that he's the second 20-year-old boy after Mikel Anelka to score 10 plus goals in a season. That boy, look at him, look at the confidence that he took the penalty against one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best. He took the penalty quite confidently against all the nightmares. of the aware support at the back. Players like Maguire and Rashford and Sancho even should be looking at how Saka has actually bounced himself back from the same Euro outbreak. He was the one who missed the penalty, and for him to come back such a strong fashion when Arsenal, we know we started from really bottom. We lost our first 3 games, but then to come back from there, take a leaf out of Saka's book and then just take in, some of the boys' attitude. They would be making themselves into superstars in no time.
I think it totally depends upon the mentality. As I mentioned, I actually don't. I hate mentioning wages and all, but if you understand that at a very young age, when you are paid a lot, Marcus Rashford earns more than twice what Bukayo Saka earns right now. More than that, easily. There's no doubt about it. So Saka has always been hungry. We've heard it from Mikel Arteta. We've heard it from Freddie Ljungberg, from what mentality Saka comes with. And he's always humble, even with Gareth Southgate saying that. So, see, talking about Jadon Sancho, I don't think so. Sancho's involvement in the Euros has been too much, but still, it's all about the hunger. Sancho is still finding it difficult, getting into the Premier League. I understand that. But talking about Rashford, how many seasons has he been in that top flight? He you know that footballers, it's a pass, and you got to come back, take the penalty again, like how Saka took the ball and he said, you know what, I want to take the penalty. I mean, it takes guts, and when you do that, and that's the only way to get out of what you've been through. So I think it's all about the mentality. Probably there are certain that's what differentiates you from the greatest of all time. I mean, you talk about Messi, you talk about Ronaldo, you talk about big players. Why are they different? I mean, everyone gets the same facilities, everyone gets good amount of wages. Why is not everyone a good player? So these are the same reasons. It's all about the mentality.
Totally. I probably don't have anything further to add about the United game. I think we've spoken enough about all the areas, even on and off the pitch. If there isn't anything else from your side, then probably we can do the last part, which is most hated part. I don't like to do predictions, but still my friends insist that I do. So, and just for the sake of them, I just want to ask you, what would be your predictions for the game?
2-1 or a 3-1 win for Arsenal.
Quite confident. I'll be going in for a 2-1 victory. I think the victory is in our hands, and if we make use of what we can, in what we are capable of, and just be clinical, just like how we showed against Chelsea, then we have all 3 points to grab from the game. Obviously, I don't have enough confidence that we'll be coming out with a clean sheet, but that's not what it matters. All that it matters is 3 points. So I'm happy to give them a goal, but I think we'll be bouncing with the victory.
Yes, hopefully, yes. I'm rooting for that as well.
Okay. Perfect. No, thank you very much, IG, for joining the show. And I hopefully you interacted as much as what I did. So yeah, I look forward to meeting you soon for future shows.
Same here. Great experience, great discussion, and of course, with those 3 points, waiting for another call for this channel.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. We look forward to that. Thank you. All right. See you
You're
guys.
welcome. Cheers.